Is Christianity true? Well, as I see it, yes and no. Because it gave us a half-truth that is disempowering to us, but made sure we don't know the other half that is very empowering to us. I'll explain. Now, first of all, we got to realize that everything that we experience in this life only exists because of opposite polarities. You can't have just hot in this world without also having cold, or light without dark, night, day, up, down, in, out, male, female, and even atoms, which are the building block of everything we experience. They only can exist because of the opposite polarities of positive and negative. But about 1700 years ago, the Christian religion began forcing the belief upon our ancestors, beginning in childhood, that you were born sinful, you have a sin nature. And yes, that's true. We do have a sin nature. I have a sin nature. But it's a half-truth. And they told us a lie, though. Don't you dare think you have a divine nature, because only God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, they're the divine nature, and you're sinful and separate from God. And this belief has been passed down generation after generation after generation, again, beginning in childhood. And you go to most churches today, most Protestant or Catholic churches, the majority of them, if you get up and give a testimony of, oh, I'm just a sinner, there's no good thing in me, my heart's deceitful and desperately wicked, but Jesus came and died to save me, so I'm going to heaven when I die. And people will pat you on the back and go, oh, great testimony, brother. But you try getting up saying, hey, we have divine natures within us and we can be like Jesus. You won't like probably what you're going to get kicked out in a hurry. Blasphemy. But this is what Jesus taught. He told his disciples, he said, a disciple is not above the master. I'm the master, you're the disciples, okay? But every disciple that's fully trained, you will become like me, like the master. You will do the things I do. You will even do greater things than I do, because you also are divine. And Jesus always referred to God as a father, our Father in heaven, which is something you didn't do in that culture. They wanted to stone him when he started talking about God as our Father, because in the Old Testament, you don't call God your Father. But that's the analogy Jesus used, that God is like a loving father. You love your children. How much more do you think your Father loves you? Look at the parable of the prodigal son, the loving father. Or Jesus, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Jesus was telling us that we have a divine nature. We have to. We can't just be lopsided with a sin nature. But Christianity has emphasized the sin nature, the sin consciousness, and kept us in sin consciousness instead of Christ consciousness. But if we don't know that something is possible, well, we're not even going to try for it. If it's not possible, well, why even think about it? And that's the trap that Christianity has kept us trapped in the cage for 1700 years. But when we realize that we have a divine nature as well as a sin nature, well, it empowers us. Whereas a sin nature, it disempowers us and causes us to give our power, our life force away to the system itself. So check out this video. This is on our oneness with God, which sounds like blasphemy, but Jesus is the one that said it. And this one will get you to thinking outside of the box a little bit. So I wish for you love, joy, and peace, which is the divine nature within us.